Once again, it is TransTrem Thursday on April 27th, 2023. It is 8:10, so that was about 5 minutes of TransTrem jamming. How about that? All right. Let's get started, shall we? Oh, I hear the doorbell. We have tonight, Mr. Trev, Smytree.
Cheers, everybody.
What is going on, Mr. Trev?
I'd just like to say that was a full salad bar of TransTremness, and it was out of sight.
Right?
Fantastic.
Never gets
Love
old,
that.
does it? Never gets old. Same stuff over and over again. That's all I know. So, hey, before we get started, I know we have a couple things to get to a little bit later, but first things first, want to do a couple of just kind of announcements in case people didn't know, and just, a little bit of condolences. We lost a pillar of the community, Mr. Thomas Santiago, passed yesterday. Thomas Santiago. So, raise a glass to Thomas.
Yep, and also
Cheers, Thomas.
China guitar skeptic Mike earlier the day before.
Yep, I didn't know much from him, but yep, absolutely. So, can we get some for Thomas? Let's get some Santiagos in the chat for Thomas. Everybody get some Santiagos in the chat. We also lost what was his name?
Not Maury, the other guy.
Not Maury, the other one. Springer, Jerry Springer died today.
Springer.
So,
79.
I've maybe watched his show once or twice. You don't know me. So, but yeah, the pillar of our community, Mr. Santiago, that was some sad news. So, in case you guys didn't know,
Patty Dell, nice touch with the all caps.
yes, absolutely. So let's get to everybody in the chat just real quick. We'll say hello. I know that Patty was in here, number one with her thumbs up. Thank you, Patty. Nice to see you. Always nice to see you. We had Stephen Franklin was right behind her. How's it going, Mr. Franklin? Let's see. We had Dan Gorman, one of the early birds. Welcome in. Ryan Hall is here. Says, howdy, folks. He's had a rough week. Lost a friend and mother. Oh, you lost some friends? Yes. And mother fell again. So our wishes to her. And appreciate you joining in.
Brother.
Absolutely. Mr. Ferd Burfel is here. Seems like we saw you just a few minutes ago over at L&M.
He is the grand poobah because he's got the hat to prove it.
Mr. Mick is here. Welcome in, Mr. Mick.
Mr. Mick.
Always glad to see you.
Right on.
Who else we got? William De Silva is here. What's going on, man?
Folks, William De Silva. Now, I just subscribed to his channel from the show I was on earlier there at L&M Guitar Corner.
Very
And
cool.
I watched a couple of his shorts, and man, that guy can shred. He's a killer guitar
Nice.
player. Bravo, William.
Everybody check him out, Mr. William De Silva's channel. See what
Back
he's
in
all
there and
about.
Watching some more of those videos. Here, do I even still have it? No, it's not going to be still copied. Let's go find him again. We'll
Yeah, see what you got. Share him in the chat. We'll carry on here. R2R3, who is not joining us tonight, he's got a event that he's attending. So all the best to R2R3. We'll catch you on the next one. Let's see. We have Donald Young is here as well. Welcome in, Donald. And Mr. Johnny Bean from California saying, hey, everyone. How's it going, Johnny? Good to see you.
See you, buddy.
Who else? Rob Blackmore Official is here. Welcome in, Rob. Good to see you. And, of course, we got Smytree in the chat. Janice Lala is here. Said she was watching some spicy videos a little bit ago. I don't know what that's all about.
Spicy. Like cooking? I like my spice.
Hip Metalworks, what's going on, brother? Good to see you.
BC brother, hip.
Let's see, who else do we have? Let's see. Scrolling. What was that Bonanza thing? Rolling.
Rolling, raw.
Let's see. Johnny says he was just at Starbucks, sitting in my car watching cars honk at each other. California traffic at 5 p.m. Gotta love it. Are they all electric vehicles too? Do the horns even work?
Meep, meep.
Right. Let's see. Who else do we have?
Cheers, Johnny. Take it easy. Drive safe, brother.
We got Donald Young. Did we say Donald already? How's it going, Donald?
Could have been Donald. Could have been Ronald.
Could have been, yeah.
Separated.
Yep. Yep. I'm assuming that you guys are twins, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let's see. Who else? I think we've got just about everybody. Let's see. Oh, there's Kurt 5150.
Kurt 5150 snuck
going on
through the kitchen door.
He's watching the NFL draft with his son. Just want to stop in and say, hey, good to see you, man. Enjoyed your show last night. Always fun time.
Absolute hoot.
Let's see. Who else? There's William De Silva's channel. Is it Silva? Silver?
Silva. That's got to be a Silva.
Gotta be.
De Silva.
Stephen Franklin. Kurt. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see everybody. So, what's been going on, Mr. Trev?
I've spent the last few days. I watched the Marty Friedman interview with Rick Beato. Great interview. If you guys haven't seen it and you're a fan of Marty, you got to watch that.
I still haven't caught it.
And he mentioned a guitar teacher, Tomo Fujita. He's a Berkeley guy. Go looking and found his channel, and man, that guy is a fantastic teacher. So kind of, pinging around in his channel, looking at some beginner stuff, some intermediate stuff, seeing what we can got and what we can digest. And I've really gotten into this triad thing he's talking about, where you take your three strings, let's say, you top three strings, and just find all the different voicings for that C chord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. And that whole switch to a couple of different other strings, and it kind of throws a whole new formula into that cage thing, where you're moving your cage around and you're picking up the different inversions of these triads. And it's like, oh wow, it's just like, oh, okay. So I've been diddling around with that, not really playing any of my riffs per se, just kind of, okay, let's find all those E triads between the A, D, and G string. And the math in your head, and you're starting to learn and figure out whole, where's that meme with all the algebra and math going?
Right. That's starts to blow your mind a little bit, huh?
That's where I'm at.
It seems like a lot of stuff that, obviously I'm a Van Halen fan, in case nobody's noticed. A lot of Eddie's stuff is a lot of just triad stuff, like you're saying.
Big time. And you start seeing those, you get the big old bar chords, usually the root if you're doing that, and you start just nailing down three strings, and the first string doesn't have to be the root.
Yep. Yeah, I was, some of you may have caught the short that I put up of When It's Love.
Okay.
That was kind of just a section that I was playing and recorded, and that kind of sounded the best, so I put that up as a short, but I'm trying to learn that song, and it's amazing to me a lot of the stuff that he does in it, and it's just those little triads that he does. You got the beginning for it. Let's see if I can remember. There's triad right there that he does. Just that... that right there.
That's part of the B chord, right? That's.
I don't know. Don't ask me that. Yeah. But then he's got that other little lick where he's coming in and he goes, let's see. Let's see. There it is.
Yeah.
So a lot of his licks are just, those little triad stuff. And then in the little change, he goes... That's a real common Van Halen lick there, though.
So
Yeah, a lot of that triad stuff is what, all his stuff is all
sure
based around.
I mean, and you start to pick up on that when you start playing them, all these different voicings of these different triads, and it's like it's still a C, but it sounds different. Dan Gorman snuck in through the kitchen, and Guitar Man just came in through the front.
I thought
Good
we
to see you
caught
both.
Dan Gorman earlier. He was one of the early
Okay,
birds.
well, he just said hey to me, so it's the first time.
So, what's up, Dan Gorman? Maybe he was off getting a drink. We'll allow it. What's going on, Dan? Who
Guitar
else
Man
did you
was
say
off getting
snuck
his
in?
wife a drink. Guitar
Oh, there
Man.
he is.
Oh,
Guitar Man 45. What's going on, man? Little late. That's no problem.
yeah,
as long
he
as you're
was feeding
here.
the wife, so that's a worthy excuse.
Right. William De Silva says that was a B major, I guess.
Yeah, B major, but you're only playing like that, that part of it. It's the D, G, and B string. But if you barred that, it's just
Yep. Well, even that whole song, it's like, let's see if I don't want to embarrass myself because I'm still trying to learn it, but it's like, let's see, where does that come in? Just those three.
yeah.
I was finding that this little chord here. There it is. That sounded pretty good too as I was playing it. I'm just playing these.
Yo, Ben Coombs, welcome to the party.
What
Good to
is
see you, man.
going on, Mr. Ben Coombs? Good to see you. Welcome in. Donald Young says, we are twin brothers. That's very cool. That explains the Donald and Ronald. I've always
And
wondered
our
that.
difficulty keeping you apart. We're not even looking at you.
Right? I think Donald usually has the green D and Ronald has the blue R. So maybe we'll get those kind of separated that way. William says, flattening the third. See, he's talking Greek to me. I don't know.
Does that make it a minor? Typically the triads I'm looking at, I think, is root 5/7, and so knowing that, I bring up the thing and I look at the major and I'm doing the math and I'm looking at the blitz of all the notes on the fretboard and looking for where the little triangle, the little 3-note patterns are, and diddling around with them. Some of them are hard to reach, but it's cool, man. It just it increases your vocabulary, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, William says, yes, that makes it minor.
See, I'm getting there.
Very cool. See, before long, you're going to be teaching me theory. I'll be soaking up
Well, I
your
was
information.
teaching you Crazy Train the other night, just saying.
You were, and I've already forgotten every bit of it.
Yeah, after 5 minutes, he was playing it way better than I was, but I was able to communicate thanks to music theory.
What's the first note on that again?
It's a F sharp.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I got it. I think. Okay, let's see.
D E. Right. And then you got to to that music theory again. I call that an A because of its, again, using that bar thing.
Right.
But it's also a D minor. Right? If you do it this way. Oh, no, D minor's there. Yep.
Is that sort of like an A sharp is also a B flat?
Well, you got your relative miners, right? Anyway, you got to stop after a while. I watch a couple of his videos for about half an hour, and then you got to let it soak in a bit, and you just kind of go and play around for a while.
Right.
Again, I revert to that meme with all the math symbols around in the space.
All the stuff on the chalkboard, yeah. E equals MC squared up there.
Well, that one's easy. Everybody knows that.
Ben says he's had a very busy day in the studio today. My brain is mulch, I'm assuming.
Well, he could probably, and probably is, lighten up the saxophone there, the glass sax.
Yeah.
A couple of gummies wouldn't hurt.
What's he call it? Life choices?
Life choice. Lifestyle choice.
Lifestyle choices. There we go.
Laz, back. Good to see you again, man. Be lurking, but no, you're there.
Let's see. Dan of New Jersey has snuck in.
Yeah,
What's going on,
nice.
Dan? Good to see you.
Cheers, brother.
Charles 75N has made his way in. And Music Therapy Laz there. Good to see you guys. I'll be lurking, but oh no, you're there. Okay.
He corrects himself in the next sentence here.
Oh, does he?
I know you are, and he even did the right "your." And thank you, William, for. I'll take that as some encouragement, man.
Take it slow, one step at a time. Yep. See, I've said it before. You know, I'm a dark side user, guitar player. I want it quick and easy. And
but did you take lessons from fellas who were watching you and coaching you, or are you just all self-taught?
I am pretty much all self-taught. The only lessons that I had was I signed up for lessons, and it's my buddy Paul that I know to this day, way back in the 90s. And I went into the music store and I heard somebody playing Van Halen. I was like, cool, do you do lessons? And he's like, yeah. I think he went to Berkeley. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, let me sign up for lessons. So I come in and I'm like, show me this Van Halen lick. So he starts showing me a lick, you know. I was like, oh yeah, cool. And I'd start playing some stuff, and you know, then he'd start playing some stuff that he knew. And then by the time I knew it, that you know, the lesson time was over,
Right.
And I didn't get any like theory or anything like that. So
Paying to hang out with a guy playing.
yeah. I would just go in and he'd show me some Van Halen licks.
So I'm pretty much all self-taught with some coaching virtually through the webcams and stuff, but I don't think that's the same. One of the big things I've noticed, again, watching this fella Tomo's videos, Tomo Fujita Music, is thumb placement. I probably got to start paying more attention to where my thumb is on the neck. And I'm guilty of doing, you know, what is it, the Hetfield grab, where pretty much everything's always thumbs over and you're noodling around doing your shit. But a lot of that other stuff, you start putting your thumb in the middle of the neck, all of a sudden it's a different kind of thing. But now you got to start muting more with your picking hand because you got nothing up here to deaden those fuckers down. So,
you know, and I never really paid much attention to where I put my thumb. You know, I never really had. I just always did what was comfortable to me. So I may be doing it wrong. Les says that's why you use a TransTrem, Ryan. Exactly, because if I don't know the note, I just bend up to it. But a lot of times, like the thumb you mentioned, best of both worlds. Let's see. Here, I'm actually fretting that note right there and playing that note with my thumb.
a la Jimi Hendrix.
So you're picking up that note there, and it just always seemed easier for me to do it that way.
Sure.
I don't know any other way you would do that, I guess. That just doesn't feel natural to me. I don't know.
Jesus. Yes, Ben, you are correct. Lessons over the webcam are still lessons.
Absolutely.
I appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you very much.
Ben, I must say that I appreciate you coming in, because I know that with your mind being mulch and all this stripy music that's going on, I know I know that you've had your fill of that over the years, but
give him a Gilmore riff or a
Yeah,
Cantrell
could do
riff
that.
next time.
I think that Gilmore played, what was that? Let's see if I can remember this. Let me remember it. There it is. Well, maybe not. How does that go? There it is. Actually played this with a TransTrem. Something like that. I don't know. I've just messed around with that for a little bit. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. Always have your support. Yeah, sorrow. Yep. Very, very cool intro. I had always seen that Gilmore had some TransTrem guitars, and I never knew what he played it on. And I think maybe it was John that mentioned it. He's like, he thought it was Sorrow, and I don't know what else. Let's see. Charles 75N says, hello there. I had to outdown the guild to be here. Took a bit longer than I figured.
I'm betting it was put down the guild because you and he are really close to each other.
Yeah, I caught the end of...
but you could still play while you're watching. Just
yeah. I caught the end of L&M. I guess he was talking about about his trip to NAM and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some NAM highlights and his general experience going on the whole trip to the States, including NAM. But there's some pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge, some big ass redwood trees, some beaches. It was a cool hang for sure.
Cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned in his chat, I was really, really enjoying a lot of the stuff that he was posting about, the NAM, the different shorts and whatever.
Yeah, he's got a very engineering mind. A fix-it, take-it-apart kind of fella, like myself, and probably like yourself, too, from what I've seen. So getting that kind of a perspective really adds something different take on it that you don't necessarily get.
For sure. Hip says the version from Delicate Sound is great. That's the first version that I heard. A friend of mine way back in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, kind of introduced me. I'd heard Pink Floyd on the radio before, but we were on a trip, and he put in Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. And this must have been late 80s.
I've done a lot of trips listening to that album.
Right? Yeah. This was a car trip that we were on, not a trip. Yeah. So I was just amazed. And, that's when I really, really started to appreciate Gilmore as a guitarist. And after that, I think I bought Dark Side of the Moon. I think that... when was Learning to Fly? What was that?
That was in the 90s, right? Early 90s?
Early 90s? Yeah.
William, you posted it in L&M's chat that you saw Pink Floyd in Vancouver. Was that in 94? That's when I saw them. It was June 25th, 94, and I won't forget that because it was my birthday.
Right.
And it was a fabulous summer. That whole summer was just outstanding with shows.
Yeah, I think 94 was when I saw them as well. I think it was
they had the big pig and the
yeah.
lasers.
Yeah. I think that was maybe the Pulse tour then.
Yeah, maybe.
So Learning to Fly and all that must have been
Late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah.
88.
So I had heard that one, and then I had heard Delicate Sounds of Thunder and Comfortably Numb on that album.
Well, see, for me and my peer group back when I was 14, 15, and we were cutting our teeth into, thrash metal and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, the Pink Floyd The Wall movie, my buddy had Super Channel, so we could watch it and stuff, right? That was a staple for us. It was almost became a once a month kind of thing where we would sit around and eat mushrooms and smoke weed and drink stolen booze from our parents and
right.
watch The Wall and just get blitzed. It was,
I still haven't figured out which one's Pink though. I don't know.
it's the singer from that the Rats band. What is it?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but don't they say that in one of their songs? By the way, which one's pink? Yeah. Janice says this is resonating my brain. Yeah, I think so. Have a cigar. What else is going on in the chat? Let's see. Oh, yes. William De Silva, the version of On the Turning Away.
I remember seeing you there, dude.
From Delicate Sound of Thunder is just phenomenal. That's one of my favorite ones. The way that just starts out kind of mellow and then builds up. Excellent song.
And he confirms that was the same show. So, William, totally saw you there, dude.
Awesome.
That was a cool show.
Charles75N says for him, it's always been The Dark Side of the Moon. That's one of those that you can just put in at any time, just let it rip and just listen to it, whatever you're doing. A lot of times at work,
it's not a good one if you have to do something that involves a lot of energy. It's cool if you have nothing else to do and you just want to kick back on the couch.
Yeah. A lot of times at work on Fridays, I've got a lot of paperwork to do at my desk, and I'll put on. I'll put on.
I would play if I was cutting the lawn.
No.
Storm through the house and do a cleaning blitz or some shit like that.
Whenever I'm chilling out and
that's usually Slayer or
focused on something.
That sort of thing.
Yep. When I was a kid, I used to cut the grass, and I'd have my little Walkman cassette player, with the little headphones that barely fit over your ear holes, and 5150 was my choice for cutting the grass.
By the time that came out, I was already in a car, and that thing just cranked through the Alpines and 6x9s and the EQ and
OhYouAteOne2 is when I had a car. So let's see. John Shane has stepped in.
How you doing, brother?
That tongue twister there. What's going on, John? Rob Blackmore says "Wasting Love" by Iron Maiden is an interesting tune. Very cool. Good album and DVD. Yeah, The Delicate Sounds of Thunder. Very, very cool stuff. William says the weekend before that show was the last time the Dead played Eugene, so we went up to Floyd stocked up and ready to party. Nice. Fruitcake Tony, how's it going, dude? Is it Friday yet? Not quite yet. Almost.
We're more than halfway there. Right?
Yeah.
We're in the final stretch.
We're in the final stretch, yep. John says the whole live album is phenomenal. It is. It is. I remember I'm pretty sure it was 94. I think they called it the Pulse Tour. The first whole part of the concert was Dark Side of the Moon. And it was like somebody had put the CD on and started it, but live.
I can confirm. I mean, I went with 4 or 5 friends. And we had some drinks, and there was some smoking involved ahead of time. But I had a dedicated joint for Comfortably Numb.
Okay.
It was 2 papers tall with an extra paper sideways on the end. So it was, the size of a tampon. It was a pretty big fucking joint.
A little fatty, yep.
And it was Comfortably Numb. It was in my pocket. And by the time that song came on, which was probably just past the halfway mark, if I recall, which I probably don't, I was the only one still not nodded off in a chair. They had all gone to the laser show and just... And I was like, screw you guys. I grabbed that thing and lit it up and I smoked that whole joint. It was my birthday at BC Place. Pink Floyd, I'm not stopping this train.
That's awesome. Dan of New Jersey says, momentary lapse of reason on Turning Away. Is that what that was? I think that was what the song that had Learning to Fly on it, right? Momentary Lapse of Reason was the name of the album.
late 80s.
Yeah. Let's see. John, let's see. Stephen Franklin says, Comfortably Numb from Delicate Sound of Thunder. Great version. Excellent version. I actually prefer that to the version on the wall. William says, Animals, for me, was Floyd's masterpiece.
It is interesting if you listen to the album, The Wall, and then you watch the movie, because they're different.
Mm-hmm.
They do come up a little bit different. But after it was Dark Side through Secondhand from the Folks, they had that one, and so I heard that when I was young, and then we went right into The Wall, mostly because of the anti-authoritarian drug use, whatever, and it was cool. But then I went back, and it was Wish You Were Here was that next album that I bit into and really started to dig that too. I mean, totally different than those other two albums, but still very cool, right?
Mm-hmm. I was watching a thing on David Gilmour was being interviewed, and I thought it was really, really interesting, you know, some of the things that he's saying, because you think of all these great songs that they come up with, and he was talking about how a lot of the ideas that he had for songs were a lot of times just something that he would stumble upon on the guitar. Like he would play like two notes or something. And he'd go, ooh, that sounds kind of good with that dissonance with itself. He says, and then he would just kind of go from there. He says, let's see what I can do with that.
It gives it that little lip twitch, and then you come back to resolve, and everything's like, oh, that's when you get that. Oh, right? Got to get the little lip twitch in once in a while.
Yeah. So I found that was interesting that, you know, sometimes you think songs just flow out of people, but, you know, he was like, no, I had to work for them and find them, you know. Let's see. Ferd Burfel says, it's a toss-up for me between Dark Side and Wish You Were Here. John says, I think Pulse is a little better. Let's see. John said he went twice, I guess, to Pink Floyd, back to back.
I did that for Metallica on the Black Album. It was two very cool shows.
Janice is saying hi to Mitch and Dawn.
Mitch, Dawn.
She's commenting on your excellent choice of a joint there.
The comfortably numb doobie. Yeah, that shall forever be. Now, had we had cell phones back in the day, there would be like pictures of the joint and video footage of me smoking it at the show. Right? Totally different time back then.
You'd have documented proof.
If you got caught bringing a camera into a show back then, slap you around, took your camera, and might let me go see the show.
Yep. Oh, I almost missed Zach there. Welcome in, Zach. Good to see you. Dan says the Pulse version of Comfortably Numb is their masterpiece. So
I'm gonna have to go look that one up. I probably heard it.
Everybody has a little different choice, yeah.
Reference it.
Let's see.
I mean, and that whole Berlin Wall thing, I mean, that was another whole next level to the Pink Floydisms, even though it wasn't really Pink Floydism. You know, you had everybody, Cyndi Lauper and Bryan Adams and all kinds of everybody's doing it. And it was, you know, one of those global events as opposed to just being in a country or even as just a state or a province or a city.
Fruitcake Tony says The Wall is his favorite. Game over. John Shane says Gilmour is his number one guitar player, I'm assuming. That's cool.
You guys have the same top three, just in a different order.
Is that right? Yeah. Yep. Eddie, Gilmour, and Cantrell is mine. Let's see. Rob says he'll have to revisit Pink Floyd. It's worth a revisit, man.
For sure.
Patty says that is her favorite one too, The Wall. Very cool.
Charles, you're right there. No cell phones kept a lot of us out of jail.
I was just reading that one. Yeah.
No evidence. It's funny too, because there's been people who have put shit on their social media doing dumb shit, And like a guy on a motorcycle around here posted it, and yeah, damn right, we got some evidence now. We're coming to get you. You're gonna lose your bike, and dumbass, what are you thinking?
Yep. There was a guy that was, doing stupid stuff on a motorcycle up in the mountains here. And he went and he posted, I think he ran from the police and they couldn't find him. He got away. But then he posted it on YouTube,
Social media.
So there was no video of his tag or anything, but they recognized because he had like a rear camera and a front camera, and he kept showing different, views,
Perspectives, yeah.
and they were like, that looks like the bike we were after, that looks like the guy, and that looks like what he was wearing.
Go pay him a visit.
So they went and paid him a visit. Yep. Got him. Guitar Man 45 says, has anyone seen Floyd here live? I have.
Once, 94. William De Silva has, same concert, which is crazy.
Yeah, there were several bands that were kind of on back in the late 80s, early 90s that I had must see. And Floyd was one of them, and I got my chance.
A big one for my period back in the day was we had an opportunity to go see Stevie Ray Vaughan. And we passed. We'll get that one next time. And that was the last time he came to town.
Yep, I had a similar situation with Stevie Ray. We were at the New Orleans Jazz Fest, and
Awesome. That'd be awesome.
yeah, oh yeah, it was great stuff. And I had never heard of Stevie Ray Vaughan at that time. And my buddy was like, "Yeah, we got to check this guy out. He's really good, yada yada." I was like, "Okay." And we kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And obviously, they were putting him on later. And it must have been 300 degrees in the shade there. And we were hot. We were wore out. At the end of the day, we were like, okay, we just got to go. So we missed him. And next thing we knew, he was gone. So sort of like Laz with his, commitment to always go see Wolfie because he missed Van Halen.
Show. And I still don't know why he didn't find a big rock and break the window.
Right. If you got the opportunity, just do it. It was miserable though. Yeah, that was awful. we were so hot and exhausted. Let's see.
I can see that. I mean, that's Cajun country, right? It gets really thick down there.
Oh
Hot
yeah,
and
I mean
wet.
it was 90 something degrees plus 187% humidity. It was nasty. John says he saw him twice. Well, that's what he said. What, back to back, right?
Yeah.
William says, only time I ever tried to ditch a cop, I got away. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't tell nobody. I don't know. They might see this.
I've been pulled over and brought in by cops, but usually by the end of the episode, they're my friends and they just let me go. I've never been fingerprinted, photographed, or had any formal charges laid, but I've been in the back of a paddy wagon with 2 grams of hash in my sock, and my lighter and my smokes that they
Right.
didn't. They didn't frisk me before they put me in the center section. I mean, there's the rowdies in the back. Then I was 17 years old out going to the park to play football and drinking with my friends, and we got flagged over. And I had an unpaid ticket, so I got it. Bench warrant, you're coming with us. I got to the prison, or the holding cell, I guess it was. Not a prison. It's a holding cell at the police station. And I've got this 2 grams of hash in my sock, and my smokes and my lighter, and I'm the only guy, and I'm in there with half a dozen other people, and I pull out my smokes and I light a smoke, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got a smoke? Have a smoke? Have a smoke? Have a smoke?" It's like, fuck. Well, fine, whatever, right? You don't want to get shanked in here.
Right?
Your public defender comes out and says, "Hey, yeah, you got 5 different unpaid tickets here. I can probably get 3 of them thrown out. You'll have to promise to pay the other ones, and you should be on your way home in a minute." That was as close as I've ever got to being arrested, printed, and charged.
Yeah, spending the night in the clink. You didn't have to do that.
And I left a place with my 2 grams of hash in my sock the whole time.
It all worked out.
It did. It was a shitty day. We didn't go to Stanley Park and throw the football around like we started off to do.
Yeah, William
But I
says
was
his
at home
was
in
20
bed
years
by
ago.
the end of the night. Yeah, exactly.
How long ago was that for you?
Oh, fuck. If I was 18, that would have been 87? 87, 88,
Yeah.
17. Not in the age of majority yet. Still treated as a minor, right? As under 18. So it was kind of a different.
Yeah, a little different
I was
scenario.
in the juvie hall. I didn't get thrown into the big pen with the really smelly fellas that were in the other end of the truck. That was a goat ride on a goat trail. That thing had to stop at least 20 times before the time they picked me up until we got to the place. And they were picking up people all along the way and stuffing them in the back. Like, sorry, I got this whole compartment to myself. Light up, have a smoke.
For whatever reason, your story there reminded me of that movie. It was a Chevy Chase movie. I think it was Fletch, I want to say, where he gets thrown in jail and
There was a couple of them.
the big guy gets up and he starts walking over and he goes, "Oh, hey, how's it going? What's your name?" The guy goes, "Bend over." He goes, "Oh, nice to meet you, Ben." I don't know why that reminded me of that, but it did.
Because you're in a prison holding cell.
Let's see. Bo says, same here, seen them several times. First was 87 in the Pontiac Silverdome. I saw them in a dome as well. It was in the Superdome in New Orleans. 94. Let's see. Holly Lewis has made her way in, and first thing she's hearing is hashish.
See, get it, go.
Let's see. Who else? Nobody new?
Nobody
So,
knew.
speaking of, well, probably everybody has seen this, but we'll talk about it for just a little bit. Michael Anthony has said that there are confirmed plans to explore Eddie Van Halen's 5150 studio music archives. What's your thoughts on that, Trev?
So Wolfie's letting Mike come over, or is somebody else doing it?
No, I think is
it going to be Alex and Wolfie?
Yeah, that's the information that I heard. He said that Wolf and Alex would be working on that.
But I mean, yeah, we were talking about that last night on the Under the Bus, and then brought it up in Johnny's show, and I mean, there's definitely gold in them there hills.
Yes.
But then should it be sacred? Like the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, should it just be left, behind closed doors for Wolfie? I guess ultimately it's up to Wolf.
So what would your feelings be if, Wolfgang and Alex came out and said, okay, we're going to have another Van Halen album. It's unfinished stuff that we're going to put together. And any missing guitar parts, Wolfgang is going to play and complete it. But the majority of it is Ed. What would you think if they did that? I mean, this is just out of the top of my head, scenario.
Let's say they take these masters, these unmixed masters they find of these songs that were close but not quite done. And if it was Alex with Wolfie, and Wolfie did all the missing parts, i.e. the vocals, the bass, any guitar that needed augmenting, be it rhythm or whatever, I'd be down for that. I'd want to watch that. I don't care what you call it. It's like the whole Pantera thing, the Pantera reunion. Oh, it's not Pantera. I don't care what you call it. I still want to go see it. Zach Wilde and Charlie with Rex and Phil. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess a lot of people, just feel like it should be put to rest. Eddie's gone. Why?
But it's got to be up to the family. It's got to be up to the heirs.
Yeah.
If it's something they want to do to do in Irish fashion of a celebration of life or whatever, good on them. Good on them, and I'll be right there cheering along. And if they choose not to, so be it. That's their prerogative.
I tell you what,
with it.
I would be happy. Yeah, Stephen Franklin sent this to me, so thank you, Stephen, for the link. I would be happy just hearing some of the the riffs that he was working on, and it's archived.
You remember that question last night about being a fly on the wall for a production in the studio. I picked vulgar display, but to be a fly that lives inside 5150 studio and just looks around at all the everything, the workbench, the everything. I'm sure it's intriguing to see and to see what he was working on and doing stuff. I mean, but I had another thought, and it just came back to me from when we had this discussion last night. I mean, what if there was a conversation between Edward and Wolfie about what Edward wanted to happen to these things, and it's none of your fucking business what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that was, it wasn't sudden, right? He was in the hospital for a while. They knew the bells were tolling.
Mm-hmm.
He had a chance to sit with his son and bond, and and I'm sure there may have been some instructions as to what his intentions would be with all of his work. And I'm sure Wolfie's going to abide by that. So the rest of us just get on the train and go for the ride, and if it comes along, then we can enjoy it. If not, that's their thing, man.
Yep. And that's kind of where, I was bringing my point, is that I'm not going to hold my breath for anything, because, for years, a lot of the stuff, you're like, why aren't they putting out music? Why aren't they, they're doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that I've heard that Ed talked about that he did music for himself. He played it because he liked it. If other people enjoyed it, that was great. But, a lot of that stuff may just be stuff that he thought was cool. There may be tapes and all the stuff in there sounds like Ed trying to play like, Alan Holdsworth or something.
8 hours of trying to figure out one riff.
Yeah.
With a whole bunch of different mic cabinets, different microphones, different microphone positions, different,
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Probably tons of that stuff.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat.
Dwight Bailey snuck in the kitchen. You bring us some snacks?
What's going on, Mr. Bailey? Let's see. Looks like Tim Thomas snuck in too. What's going on, Mr. Thomas?
Cheers, brother Tim.
Good to see you.
Drink to that.
Let's see. Trying to get up. Yeah, Holly, we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Steve Franklin says, I saw Wolfie doing a signing, and Wolfie says it's all up to Al.
And that's respectful too.
Yeah. Rob says that he would buy whatever comes out. I mean, I think all of us would. We would listen to it for sure.
But I don't expect it, and you just gotta let it be.
Yeah.
Let it be. Let it be.
Music Therapy Last says, don't forget the thumbs up sheep.
14 thumbs up, 26 watching.
Did you have to put the sheep in there? I mean, come on, Laz. Laz, come here. Let me show you something. Step over here.
Something over here.
Yeah. Now, if you guys are enjoying what you're watching, give me a thumbs up if you would. Just gave myself a thumbs up.
Nice. Oh, that's up from 15 to 16.
Oh, there he is. The lamb is for me. Oh, goodness.
Bah.
Let's see. John says, if the family is into it, I'd say go for it. Maybe do an all-star album that Ed was talking about after Roth quit.
Now, there's another thing that happens over one of my favorite guitarists.
What's going on, Mr. Ranford?
The Dime Bash for Dimebag. They have an annual party where musicians, friends, and fans get together and celebrate the life of fabulous Dimebag Darrell.
Now, what are your thoughts?
I'd be totally down for something like that if it was an Edward thing.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that nothing has happened yet?
It's the way they want it. That's the way they want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Do you think it harkens back to just the fact of the family just wants to be private? I mean, it's almost like, why didn't they go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they were inducted? Why weren't they there?
Anything Van Halen, the troll factor is like exponentially up by like at least 5 or 8 for sure, because it's just such a group of almost religious fanatics, I want to say, when it comes down to it. That, rather than just agree and hang out with people who have a like-minded philosophy, want to pick you apart for all the things you just got wrong.
Right. Yeah.
No time for that. Move along, son. Move along.
I thought it was pretty fitting, though, what Wolfgang did with the Taylor Hawkins stuff, he said that was his closure, that was his tribute, and I really, really respected, that he did that.
I had goosebumps in a tear when I was watching that, man.
Yeah.
That was like, you could feel.
Yep. I knew that he could play.
Yeah.
And, obviously he wants to be different from what his dad was.
Yeah.
But he really, really surprised me with, I've
been listening to this stuff since I was this big. Come on.
He's got like the same groove, the same rhythm, the same feel, the same swing when he needs to.
For sure.
I mean, obviously it's in the genes, right? I was really, really surprised at how well he did with those songs.
Yeah, he did. He tore it up. And watching, I mean, of course, the whole event, you've already got your heart on your sleeve. And you've got Dave Grohl sitting there on the bass, and he looks over at Wolf, and he's doing the, yeah, man, this is awesome.
Yep.
What a moment in time.
Yep, for sure. Welcome in, Mega Todd. Good to see you. We are doing well.
Todd.
Let's see. Did we say
all Van Halen fans? Some.
Yep. Did we say hey to Robert Ranford? What's going on, Mr. Ranford?
I think I missed it. Cheers, Robert Ranford.
Holly Lewis says Eddie did Wolf the best by teaching him to play all of the instruments and record by himself. Hire the band. No controversies, no egos.
I mean, you think of all those little secrets and tricks that a fella figures out over a lifetime of playing guitar and music in general, other instruments, and just coming into a second generation of that. I don't matter who the parent and the son or daughter is. I mean, it's going to be, if they embrace it and they want to run with it, you have saved yourself a lot of steps, a lot of pain and suffering. And look, just don't do this. I think of Frank Zappa and his philosophy, back in the 70s or late 70s, early 80s, and the Letterman and this and that, and talking about that whole fuck the corporations, never sell your rights, own all your own property. And there's a lot of things I'm sure saved Dweezil a lot of pain and suffering. And I love some Dweezil Zappa. We need more from him these days.
He's a phenomenal musician as well. I mean, note for note.
I have that CD somewhere in a box in a closet. Got into that.
Megatod, he says, wait, where's R2? R2, where are you? Come on, R2.
He's watching one of his younglings do a thing.
Yeah, he had a family commitment tonight, so he couldn't make it. Let's see. Holly says you have to go back and watch the beginning. That's all good.
I recommend you all do that, but for now, stick with it.
Let's see.
Six
Dan of New Jersey. What's that?
Six Fingered Assault just came through the kitchen with pizza.
Oh, did he? Okay. Where is he?
Didn't ring the
Man,
doorbell.
you guys you're chatting way too much. I'm way back behind.
I got it streamed. And you know what I do is I use the pop-out chat, and then I do the old Control plus and bring it up so it's like 200%, so I can sit here and actually, the letters are like, that's right. Yep.
So Dan says there was always a rumor that there was a final album almost completed. I'd heard that there was a follow-up to Van Halen 3 that was nearly completed with Sharon. Let's see. There we go. Van Halen is dysfunctional. That's why nothing happens. I kind of, and Wolfgang said that too. He says the whole Wolfgang, or the whole Van Halen camp is dysfunctional.
He's pretty well adjusted, given it all. I mean, sitting with him for that few hours on Twitter there a couple of weeks ago, he was doing those signing things and just hung out. And no, it was Instagram, right? Yeah.
Well, that's where the short fans comes from, is fanatic, right?
Yeah. Well, that's one of those words that's been kind of twisted. So in that sense, to be fanatical about something means you're adamantly enjoying it, and you love it, and you're going to support it. So that's not so bad. But it's been pushed. I mean, it's like decimated. When somebody says, I decimated that village, what do you think? Obliterated? Because it wasn't. Decimated means removed by 1/10. And you still got 90% of whatever that 10th was.
Right.
But people say, oh, I decimated it. Because, no, you obliterated it.
Words take on new meanings for whatever they're used for over
It just
time, I
becomes
guess.
slang. And my slang's ancient, so it's almost hieroglyphics at this point.
It's like the hashtag. I mean, you remember when we called that the pound sign or the number sign?
Right? The pound sign.
It's not a hashtag. It's a pound sign. Megatod is concerned for you, Trev. He says, I hope you get over that cough. You're going through a ton of cough syrup. There's Six Fingered. What's going on, man?
I'll bet he's got a guitar near him. Mind you, it's early morning for him, isn't it?
5 hours, I think he said. 5 hours ahead.
5
Is that
hours
right?
behind.
I don't know. He'll probably answer us in the chat
5
here.
hours behind the next day?
Something like that. Zach Thong's getting his snack on. He's got a protein bar, cookies, and some cream flavor. Let's see.
Bon appetit.
And I think that I am caught up in the chat now. So,
If it's Holly Lewis with the 6.
6. 5 plus 1. That would make 6.
There it is. That's my 6-fingered salute.
About time for another riff. What do you guys want to hear?
Yeah, lay it down. What? Oh, yeah, give us some.
Just trying to think what I haven't played yet. TransTrem related.
I think there was some. No, Cantrell doesn't qualify for that, does it? I mean, you're not playing your drop tune TransTrem either. How's the work on that coming along? You get that other TransTrem guitar sorted out yet?
It's all set, man. It's good to go.
Is it still drop tuning?
It is. You want to hear a drop tune TransTrem? I haven't really prepared anything for that, but yeah, we can do that, I guess. You guys will give me a moment to swap guitars.
100%. It's your show. Do what you want.
Okay, see ya. Have to safely cradle this one over here.
Precious. Just thinking of Patty Dill when you almost knock over that license plate she sent you. Cheers, Patty Dill, wherever you are. I'm sure you're there. Goddamn headphones, right?
Get my ears on where I can hear you now.
Hey, didn't miss much. I just shouted out Patty Dill for that fabulous Van Halen license plate that you almost knocked.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was thinking that I was going to put that actually on my vehicle, but I kind of like it sitting right there.
It is. It's got to be within sight.
Right.
On camp, for sure. It's got to be.
Yep. Let's see. Did we? Oh, we were going to say hi to Jeff K, and I kind of waltzed away from the computer. What's going on, Jeff? Good to see you. Let's see. Anybody else sneak in? Thumbs up for Allison Shanes.
There's a lot of support for that, actually. Although
Rob says Wolfie doing his own thing is great.
Yep.
Turn it into a pendant and wear it. What, the license plate?
Yeah. Kind of like, Flavor of Life with
the big clock, yeah.
That'd be Robbie Spengel with his Kramer clock, right? You should turn that into a
Right?
necklace.
Yeah, he needs to put a chain or something on that. All right, let's see what I can figure out here.
Woo! Put on your helmets, folks. Let's go for a ride.
Down there.
Delicious.
You know, this drop D or drop tune TransTrem is really cool. I just haven't figured out how to make it musical into a song yet.
You're doing pretty good so far, my friend.
You know, I mean, it sounds freaking cool.
Hell yeah!
Let's see. Well, since I got a drop tune guitar here, let me see if I can. I tried playing this the other night and I had trouble keeping up with the time on it. Oh, and it may be something to do with the volume level or something. I don't know. This adjusted here. Very difficult to keep up with the timing on that, and the way that, for whatever reason, when I ripped my own guitars out of that song, it also ripped a lot of the bass out too. So it's hard for me to hear, you know, I hear the drums, but the drums are such an off kind of beat. I remember that whenever I would play it live, me and the bass player were just right on it. You know, he was mimicking a lot of what I was doing, and it was just like locked in.
The software you used to rip your guitars out, can you go back in and maybe boost some more of the EQ in the zone of what the bass
Yeah, I think you can control the volume of how much of it that comes out, but I don't know.
You did pretty good, and I mean that started off. The soundtrack was low, and you caught that, and you brought it up to a good level. So, I mean, that sounded pretty cool at the end there. You were on point, man.
Yeah, it was the timing was getting off. So, but yeah, it's all good. Yeah, Megatod.
That's right.
Gets a little slinky way down there, especially with the drop already. Ooh. This, I've said it before, this guitar with the lock nut on it and the strings that aren't typically calibrated for the TransTrem, it works great, you know, in everything but that lowest dropped. It falls out of tune just a little bit.
That's when you gotta channel your inner Jeff Beck and just pull the string a little more.
Right?
You mean sharp? What do you want?
Let's see if actually some tension on the string would change. Yeah, a little more tension on that one. That D, that drop, when you do that D, man, that just sounds awesome. What do you guys think? Such a fun guitar.
Megatod says, I need more of this in my life.
Right? Don't we all?
I would agree.
Don't we all? Everybody should own a TransTrem. I think everybody should have one.
It would make my smile bigger if I did the handlebars.
Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let me catch up.
Holly said the Jerry Springer thing, and it's like, I wasn't wondering if she was back when we were talking about it earlier, or
Oh, yeah. Maybe she's going back and she's fast forwarding through.
apparently she loves it, so she's watching now too. Maybe she's watching both.
Could be.
Multitasking, Holly. In any case, yeah. R.I.P. Jerry.
Thank you, William. Robert Ranford says, good golly, that tone is massive through my pair of A3Xs.
No bad.
Sounds pretty good through here, too. One of these nights, maybe when the family's not here, I'm going to crank that sucker.
That's what John DeShane says when I go over to his house. We
Right.
drink whiskey and turn up his Friedman and make some noise.
Right? I'm going to turn it up so loud that you guys will feel it through the video. Maybe it'll shake the cameras and you'll see the cameras moving. Tell you what, that
Hook it up to the 412.
you can bet your bottom dollar that those 3 412 cabs will move some air.
Oh yeah.
When you get that thing.
Do a fairly good job at 50 watts, and you're
Yeah.
using a 100-watt head, right? That probably pushes 120.
Yeah, you get those things cranking back there, and I literally can stand over there against the wall and I can feel it hitting me in the face. Oh yeah, it's great. Let's see. Holly Lewis, Jerry Springer died. Yes, he did this morning. Early this morning, I believe. So, what you drinking there, Trev?
None of your business.
Never let them know what you're
know.
drinking. Beaver Buzz. Is that
Beaver
is
Buzz
that
root
one,
beer.
is that one of those cans that you can wrap around what you're really drinking? Jeff says he had it turned up loud enough it was vibrating his table.
Yeah. Right on for it.
Reminds me of that scene in that Howard Stern movie where he has the female caller sit on her speaker and turn the bass off. Not that you should do that, Ferd. I'm just,
Yeah. Just remembering stuff.
Megatod says you could hear those from space. Probably. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to do that. The reason that I don't do it is obviously it's too darn loud, as Huey Lewis would say. but I have to go through and adjust all of the levels, on the rack for the input to the effects, and then obviously the levels on the microphones here, because it just blow everything up.
A lot of red line. I have dimed the Marshall into this speaker that I've got on it, and I had to go way down. And it's got a sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Yeah, Rob says you've got a sleeve on that can.
It's not.
Wink, wink. So what else could I do with a drop D? There's another song that we did. I think I'm gonna rip my guitars out and see how it does. But let's see. Something like that. I think that would be cool if I could play that one. That was always one of my favorite ones that we did. Let's see, has my, there we go.
Cheers, Dwight.
Rob is asking, how's the Frankie replica doing? Any word? No, he said that it should be ready at some point this week, and he's about a 40-minute drive from me. He's still in the Atlanta metro, but it's way over on the other side of the metro for me. So, he said it'll be soon. I'll share it with you guys. May even be able to get it picked up this weekend and share it on Sunday with everybody.
That'd be nice.
Let's see. William says it's epic. Great playing. Thank you. Yeah, I've always loved drop D. Most of the stuff that we had on our CD was drop D. I just love playing in it. Here's the actual song.
Long before we stood in line and we ate.
know. What do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot.
I was always, I never was the fastest player, but
That was part of the package you sent me of all your songs, right?
Yeah.
I've listened to them all at least once.
right.
I've gone back to a couple of timing, driving. How much time does it take me to get to my next stop?
Mm-hmm.
And I dig it. I mean, I dig the whole Fandango.
Cool.
Great little album, man.
Yeah, this one song here was probably my favorite. I like the little breakdown, and I just did a real simple solo, but I thought it fit. Let's see what you guys think. Y'all don't mind listening to music, do you?
I think everybody's down with it. Very well received.
Now, I will say something right here. The one thing that I was vetoed on was what's that?
I said, "Oh, we get a commentary."
Get a little commentary on this. The one thing that I was vetoed on is I had a friend who was Air Force pilot, and I asked him if he could give me some radio chatter, like
Background noise,
cockpit radio chatter, and I wanted him to make it up. I didn't want it to be real official chatter. He said he couldn't
Random
share anything like that, but I wanted him to do, I had a couple things, like, I'm hitting the deck, or, Top Gun kind of stuff,
Sure.
got one on my 6 or this and that. And I was vetoed with that, and they chose to put in some kind of speech from, I forget who it is. You guys will probably recognize it, but I was not happy about that. So when you listen to this little part, just think of, and into the solo, think of a jet fighter, going through a canyon, with his wingman, and they're chattering back and forth. That's how my vision of this part. So long story short, let's get back to it. Let's see.
Let's go.
Where did we go? I hope it doesn't start over again. Exactly. You got a bogey on your 6. Yeah. You need to hit the deck. Yeah. All right, we've got him. We're out of here. You kind of get my vision there of what I had in my head with that. So anyway, I thought it turned out okay. Thank you, Mr. Dwight. Dan seems to like it. Thank you.
Yeah.
William says if you heard that on the radio, it would fit right in. Well, thank you.
I want to know what radio station you're listening to, because my radio stations don't got that kind of stuff. A little USB stick full of goodness.
Raymond Bozak is here. Welcome in, Raymond. He says, does anybody really know who has legal control of 5150 tapes? EVH's wife, Wolfie, or Alex? I would speculate that it's Alex, because Wolfgang keeps saying that everything's up to Alex.
He's got 49% and Alex has 51 kind of thing.
Yeah, no telling. Johnny's giving thumbs up. We got Tony lurking.
Right on.
Richard Friend is here. What's going on, Richard? Good to see you. William says it sounds great. I'd buy a ticket to come watch you play. Cool, man. $10 a piece. You can come and watch me play it here in the
Hey, you're going to do a private show? You're going to do a Patreon?
Yeah, we could do something like that. Yeah, John, very anthem-like is kind of the feel that I had for it. And I was gonna say too, like, I've never been the fastest player. If I sit and work on something, I can get it up. But for the kind of the tone of the song, I thought it was very kind of fitting to do something. And I was inspired by Gilmore, just a few notes with a little feeling to it. And that's kind of, where that solo came in.
That's cool.
Rob Blackmore says, I can hear Pearl Jam playing that tune. Imagine Eddie Vedder on vocals. What do you think? Yeah. I'd let him sing it.
For me there, for a moment, it kind of had a Kashmir vibe to it, the Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page.
On the little solo spot.
Not exactly the same kind of music, but that same kind of anthem-like build to it. Where
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's like a... Yeah. Just something to kind of fit the song, I thought. Thank you, sir. Says that sounded great. Let's see. Williams commenting on the radio stations. He says, mine neither. No, my good radio station became a country station. Ferd says he's mostly listening to Sirius XM Deep Track channels. Cool.
I do like the Sirius XM channels. I mean, I had it free for a few years with the new van, 2015, when I got a new work van.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for a couple of years and paid for it, but then the rates went up, and I kind of did a protest and quit.
Right.
And I'm thinking of going back because you can really get specific to the genres you like. And I mean, for me, it was, of course, the Jose Mangan with the metal channel and the whole Octane and Ozzy's Boneyard and all that mandatory Metallica. I mean, that's all right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the hack is you got to get the app. It used to be if you had one, you had the other. But now you got to, because if you just have it for the receiver or your car,
Mm-hmm.
then it's only good for that thing.
Oh, you can't
If
use
you have
it.
the app, you can log in on your phone or your PC or your whatever.
And then put it through. Yeah, gotcha.
Pump it out.
Music Therapy Laz is nearly done with his errands. Or just about.
Should we send you a link? You want to jump in, Laz?
Yeah, come on in and say hey.
ASMR with
Anybody in the chat wants to jump in, come on in.
Emails in the description.
We're running out of stuff to talk about. Come on.
I could go on.
Nah. Let's see. Everybody saying hello. We got No Man's Land is here. No problem. If you're late, just glad you showed up.
Yeah.
John says Alt Nation and Stern is cool.
Yeah, that too, right?
Ferd likes the Beatles channel. Rob Blackmore says, I agree with the idea for the voiceover, Ryan. Your idea sounds better because the track is stellar. Well, thank you. Yeah, as we were recording that song and as I was writing the solo to it and the little riff, that's just immediately what kind of popped up into my head was jet fighters flying.
We've also referenced that Matrix closeout scene, right? Which one
Right.
did we figure that was?
Well, that was from another song, another riff.
It's a similar riff, though, in its anthem-like,
Yeah,
the build
yeah,
to it. I'm sure it's some kind of a mode,
yeah. Falls into those triads or something.
Locrian? Is that a Locrian?
Yeah, I think I may not be right, but the Rage Against the Machine riff, I think, is yeah, I think it's that. And then you hear the bass come in. Doom, digga, doom, da, doom.
It's that dissonance again, though, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So I took that and I reversed it and I made this riff. Okay, that's enough of that, right?
great, man. Love that.
Well, they say most good music is stolen from somewhere, right?
It's just a different take on somebody else's version of a thing at this point. I mean, if you go back far enough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Raymond is in watching, because he's referencing the tapes. So that brings up a good point. That those tapes should be archived, whether they want to use them or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those things don't last forever.
You gotta bake that shit, right? Don't you have to put the tapes in the oven?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure of the whole process, but I have heard that if you, they deteriorate after time. So let's see. Rob says your guitar taking flight and pushing off the deck of an aircraft carrier and taking you on another journey so much higher than just on the deck. Yeah. Yep.
Well said.
Let me check. You know, I say everybody should just email me if they want to jump in. Then I never check my email. Yeah, I think Rob got screwed one time. We finished the show and then I checked the email. He's like, "Hey, can I get a link?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, dude." Let's see. Got a question from Jeff K. You mind if I read this on air, Jeff K? Are you still in here? Jeff K. Jeff K. Your answer is in the queue. Have your question here. Come to aisle 3. We also need a mop.
Do you want the ASMR can open or? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there is. Yep. Let's see. John says real quick, I think all my band rehearsal tapes from the 90s are toast.
I've got cassettes from the 90s. I've thought of digging them out and putting them to task and see if they can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nowadays, you go back 20 years and I've got stuff on hard drives. I've got 12-year-old hard drives. That stuff's already been duplicated and saved to newer hard drives. About every 5 to 7 years, I'll buy some more terabytes at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not had good luck with hard drives. So I try to keep my stuff backed up. I've got redundant drives with the same stuff on them. And then I have everything backed up to a external drive as well. Let's see. Let me read.
Do you keep the family photos and the precious stuff on another drive at a separate location in case of fire?
No. No.
Or some cloud device. I'm not a fan of the clouds, but I do have a couple of hard drives. Mind you, they're not at another house, but they're not in the same rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones are in fireproof cases.
Right.
So there's a copy of the family photos. I've got stuff that was scanned down from like my mom and my aunts and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Pictures of their grandparents from the 30s and the 40s and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a copy of that stuff in a little fireproof suitcase.
Yep. You know, that's a pretty good idea. I do have it all. It's just a little, one of your little portable, external, simple, small drives.
I got a couple of those, yeah.
I could take that. My gun case is fireproof, so I could put it in there. It's a gun case safe. So,
yeah.
All right, let me read Jeff's question here. He says, love the show. Question, how do you stream such a great sound from your rig? My DAW is a Pod Go and sounds pretty good through my studio monitors, but how would I record or stream in its full stereo glory instead of my iPhone camera? Any help is appreciated. Keep up great work. Thank you, Jeff. The simple answer to that question is I really don't know. I purchased the, I've shown it before,
Roadcaster.
the Roadcaster Pro 2, and I hooked everything up with real microphones. So your Podgo and all that, I have not been very happy with most USB interfaces that I've tried for the computer until this one. And the 3 cabinets have SM57s on them. You can see them there. And those microphones come straight over to the Roadcaster. And I just tweak the levels to get, so it's not blasting everything out. But I just hooked it all up hoping that it would work, and it did, and it sounded great. And John DeShane was having, he was going through and he was trying to figure out how to get his system to come through, and he had tried some other interfaces and load boxes and this and that, and he got the Roadcaster 2 Pro 2, and he said that it was just like night and day difference, ease of hookup, the tone that he was getting improved. So I think that it's this Roadcaster that I've got.
And, the ease of use is definitely a common denominator there between your experience.
Yep. So I think anybody that's trying to do any kind of, like streaming, podcasting, anything with live music, I bet you that I could have some electronic drums, bass player, and have all that routed through here, and it would sound like a live concert in here.
Yeah.
I think that this thing would do that well. So I can't speak to your pod. I just know that I think that the sound that I'm getting is all from this, the quality of this Roadcaster Pro 2. And if Rode is watching, send me some free stuff. I think I've helped sell a couple of those.
John brings up an interesting point, though. I mean, the rest of your chain is
yeah,
solid too. You've got the racks and the amps and the. But I mean, for me, I've got the little Focusrite Scarlett 2i2.
Mm-hmm. You know what? As an experiment, I'm going to do this. I've got a little Line 6 Spider 3 amp, with all the effects and stuff built into it. It's just a little 112-inch speaker in it, and it's from years ago. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to route it through here, and I want to see what that sounds like. And maybe I'll do that for Sunday's show, and we'll see.
For science. For
science, yeah. You got to do experiments, right?
Right.
So that'll take all that out of the equation, and it'll just be this
157 on the crappy amp.
It's not even going to be a 57 on it. I'm going to take the line out because I'm going to come out of the headphone jack, and I'm going to go into here.
Okay.
So that the little cabinet will be silent. It'll just be a signal, just like his pod would be. Okay. I think that would be kind of the same type of brains.
Sure.
Because it's Line 6. So we'll see how that sounds. It'll probably end up sounding crappy, but got to do an experiment to find out, right? Rob says, audio always sounds clear and amazing. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Hit Metalwork says they have a less expensive unit coming out, and it's called the Roadcaster Duo. You only have one XLR, I believe, into that one, or is it 2? Maybe it's 2. I guess that's why they call it the Duo. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And there apparently a firmware update for yours too that gives it some more expandability to certain doing things.
Yeah, it has.
Article about the whole launch. They have a new USB microphone.
They have a
caster.
And I may decide to go with one of their. It's called a Wireless Go or a Wireless Me, and it's a Bluetooth microphone. And they have the capability that you don't even need this is the receiver, and you just have the microphone. So I may choose to do that if I'm going to get up and maybe walk around and have a little more freedom to stand up and play a little bit instead of being tethered here. I don't know. I have some plans to maybe experiment with some of that stuff.
Sure.
Especially for like if I start doing some stuff where I'm working from a workbench, like, I did the pickup change that one show. So we will see. We will see. Yeah, already I can hook up my my Bluetooth phone to this, and I could play like music, and then I could send it over the stream. So if somebody wanted to call, I could have them on as a caller, and it would be crystal clear.
It's not like holding the phone up to the microphone.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, anybody that's wanting to do any kind of YouTube show or podcast or anything, I think this thing is really state of the art.
Mr. Mick, not running Reaper at the moment, although I have it. Right now, I'm going into StreamYard. I've selected my webcam as the video source and the Focusrite as the audio source. And I've got the audio mic here, and I got the crappy cabinet. And into the Focusrite. That's good enough for the girls I go with.
Right. No, it sounds good.
I'm just a guest.
Yeah. You're more than a guest. You're family now.
Well, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Hip saying 2 in the duo, add cell, Bluetooth, wired stereo. Yeah. Yep. For what I do, I need all four. I need all four of the inputs. Right. And I think I was telling you, Trev, or maybe R2 after a show one night, that I would like to have more inputs on this thing for the XLR.
16 channels?
Yeah. I do have another mixer on the other computer over there.
To the road? Or would you feed the mixer to the computer on its own?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I would go into that, and then I could come out of that and into the road. I don't know if there'd be any kind of delay between the two, but there's some experimenting that's going to be happening here.
Science.
Yeah. Well, for real life purposes too, I would eventually like to have, some buddies come in here and we jam out some songs, on a show one time.
Got Georgia on my mind.
I'm going to make it happen. Let's see. John says, I was running through a Friedman into a Captor X into a UA interface, and it sounded like shit.
Shite?
I will confirm it sounded like shit.
True story. We were here. We were there.
Yep, I was there. John says he needs 3. Hip says that the mic is the best way to go sound-wise. It is a little more of a pain. You got to have the room for it. You got to have the cable stretched along the wall. But
across the floor. There's a snake there.
I think it's worth it. For sure.
Snake too.
So. See if anybody else here. Nope. Everybody's chicken to jump in. Got Charles heading out of here. See you later, Charles.
That sounded killer, dude.
Cool, thank you. Had to jump in from the kids' fencing lessons.
So we said it publicly now. Can we discuss this?
Yeah, let's discuss this, John. I'd mentioned this to Trev earlier when, you were saying that you were taking your kids to fencing. And Trev was like, what's he talking about? Are they putting up a fence around the yard? So what's up? You got kids taking
swords?
Like on guard,
right? Parry forward.
What do they call it? Yeah, Mr. Mick says, Trev, do you have a mic from your amp into the Focusrite?
Yes. Okay, so we got the Audio-Technica 2020 ATH 2020 here for vocals, but it's picking up the cabs too, because both of these 412s are lit up with the 50 watt. And then over here is an Apex economy entry level thing that came as a kit that I bought with the stand and the cord and the whole 9 yards for $100 for the girls to use for karaoke a couple years ago, and they don't use it, so I brought it out here. So I mean, the next upgrade may be getting a 57 to put in there instead of this thing, but for what I had to put it to use, it seems to work. From the recordings I've done and a little bit of YouTube and I've seen, it doesn't suck. So I'm happy camper with what I got.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. You don't get the compression, you know.
I got echo cancellation off. You have to wear the cans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the earbuds do it, because guys with earbuds sometimes got echoes.
Little echo happening.
But having the sound isolated here, I'm figuring this stupid thing out. And I mean, earlier when I grabbed the guitar, I apologize if I bashed the microphone with the headstock and made a noise. You don't hear a lot of ambient sound either. And even playing the guitar, it's like I can feel it more than I can hear it. Although I can hear it a little bit. But the vibe, you know, apparently it's louder, even if you're just sitting here unplugged, than one would think.
Now, did you say that you can monitor your guitar through your headphones, or you don't hear it?
No, but I don't have it on right now. Now I hear it. Yeah. But I also have ambient sound, and right now it's bedroom level. It's only on 2.
Yeah.
Which is like 9 o'clock, right?
Is there a delay between what you hear in your headphones and what you're actually playing?
No, my headphones are taking the signal out of the Focusrite, putting them in my head.
Okay.
So I'm not actually hearing what I'm exporting.
Right.
'Cause,
but you hear it in real time what you're playing.
StreamYard. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that was the trouble that I had with a Focusrite, and this has been 2 years ago that I tried one, and it sounded great, but if I was just trying to listen and play, it was like just a couple milliseconds behind, and it would just throw me off. I'm like, I can't play guitar like that.
It's one of the reasons why I'm currently using the StreamYard, using audio input that and video input that, instead of using my Minicams, which was my OBS software type thing where I could do picture-in-picture or flip to my desktop and whatever. It's because I've got it set now where it'll start off fine, but after 2 hours, there's like half a second, 3/4 of a second of delay. The Focusrite's not syncing the software. So when that comes up for renewal, I'm going to send in anybody got a fix for this? I should probably do it before it comes up for renewal.
Right.
Because usually when it comes up for renewal, you can renew it for less than half the price of actually buying it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let it expire. And it's pretty cool otherwise, but it doesn't quite jive with I've adjusted sample rates and bits and bytes and
this doesn't ever seem to catch up properly.
But when I do it this way, it seems to come through. So I can't do picture-in-picture. I can't click over and show you guys one of my windows unless I present. We have presenters, so I mean that works anyway. If there's something I get on this.
Yep.
You know, you want to see the chat.
Why would you need picture-in-picture? Oh yeah.
There, right?
Right.
Share this window.
I probably don't play that right, but I don't care. It kind of ticks me off a little bit when I do like a short. And a lot of times I just play something and I play it from what I remember it sounding like. You know, I don't go and I sit and listen to each little intricacy of a song and then, you know,
Right.
I want to get it note for note. I don't care. I just play what it sounds like in my head.
Yeah.
And people are like, you missed that one note right after that D. And I'm like, well, shut up.
Don't care.
No, it's none of the people that, you know, come and watch and people that I know. It's just some random person that, you know, says something. Kind of irritates me a little bit. Oh, well. Rant over.
Indeed.
Sword slashers. Oh, we're talking about John's kids again. William says the bit rate should fix what you were talking about there.
I've done a bit rate. It was at 48,000, which was really bad. I had dropped it down to 44,100, which is the lowest it'll go. And it's better. Like for the first hour, it's tolerable. But after 2 hours, it gets
worse as time goes. Yeah. Well, jam out some of that Crazy Train for us. Let's hear that.
I got that message was from John to me with the strobo time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, out of tune.
Well, see,
Oh, Sky Prop is here.
It's warm outside right now. The sun's shining.
Sorry, I missed your chat there, Sky Prop. Welcome in. Good to see you. So while we're waiting for Trev to tune up, check the chat here. John says, note for note is BS as far as I'm concerned. It's about the feel and fun of putting your own spin on it. Yeah, exactly. Rob is heading out. We'll see you later, Rob. Thanks for stopping in. Always good to see you.
You bet.
Laughing at the strobo comment there, I guess. William says he remembers hearing someone talk about that. I've never played through an interface or DAW, so I really have no idea. Yeah, Trev's... Excuse me just a second. Trev's timing was really, really off on his camera and sync of when he would play, and then we would hear it on the StreamYard. We were doing some testing. And he did make an adjustment, and it seemed to be good, but it still just wasn't quite right?
Of course, this is my standard tube guitar.
I was going to leave it on you till you played Crazy Train.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, that was my warm-up.
Oh, okay. Here we Sounds good, dude. Don't worry, there's only like 23 people watching here. They're all family too, so.
Yeah.
See, props from John. He says, nice, Trev.
He's always full of encouragement.
William says there's that new IK multimedia interface that's geared just for guitar. I'm thinking about getting. Maybe try that one. give it a shot. Let us know. I think that Michael Nielsen did a review on that. He makes anything sound good, almost like Pete Thorne does. But I don't know. I'm happy with my Rode. So let us know how that turns out for you. I'm interested in that as well. I saw that. Yeah, Patty Deal's giving you some praise there. Awesome, Trev.
Thanks, Patty.
William's giving you the applause. Robert saying go Trev. Awesome. John says that he has the IK interface didn't work for him. Mr. Mick is giving you the horns.
Thanks, brothers.
Dan in New Jersey. Patty's cheering you on. Go Trev, go. Yeah, man. I got to figure out some cool stuff to do with this drop D TransTrem. I'm going to write a song somehow. But then I have the problem of I don't have anybody to play bass or nobody put drums to it. So
Wasn't we kicking around an idea of starting a chain letter, so to speak?
Right?
There's plenty of folks in the chat that do bass or drums or
Yeah, we figure something out.
But
Let's see. Thank you, Patty. Thumbs up. Well, what else to talk about? I think that we've hit all the topics that all of the shows have talked about. We discussed NAMM last time. Talked about all the Van Halen news.
yeah.
So, I guess that's about it for tonight.
Any other questions from the crew there?
Yeah, anybody in the chat have anything?
Well, I think I already know what Ryan's answer is going to be to William's question, but let's see what he says.
What's his question?
Best guitar under $300.
What's the best under 300 one for guitar? I think he's talking about interfaces still, right?
Oh, is he? Well, this little Focusrite that I've got, I mean, it's two XLRs in. It's the 2i2. It's not a solo. Because I didn't want to go DI and spend a bunch of money on computer monitors. Got a real tube amp and throw a microphone on it. I mean, watching Ryan certainly helped, and knowing that he's not actually playing as loud as he sounds. I mean, it comes through and it sounds like he's loud, but he's bedroom ballroom in that room. He's not really moving that much air, and he's still got this ooey chewy goodness. So I play around, doing a few different things. Waiting to see what John's got at. He should have an extra week on that road now and have it a little better figured out. See what he's doing on the weekend.
I'm interested to check out how he's improved on it. Raymond has a suggestion that we check out Audrey123 Talks on YouTube of her doing Crazy Train. I guarantee you she does a much better version than either of us have. So, that's not a Gibson SG that you've got there, is it? Bo's saying.
It's not. It's LTD, ESP LTD Viper.
It's the limited.
So, I mean, it's got a little bit of a smush to it compared to an SG. And it's got the MG 8185 with the afterburner.
Nice. And that's a 20 dB boost, you said, right?
That's right.
Very cool.
It cripples a solid state amp. If I plug this into the solid state amp and pull that thing on and crank it up, it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, William says he was talking about interfaces. You know, I personally.
US, you could probably But they say that new one's coming out from the Roadcaster. I think it might be closer to.
Oh yeah, it's like $4.99 or something like that.
Is it?
I think
Well, what's the Roadcaster 2 down there? I mean, up here
six
it's
ninety nine,
$900.
$6.99. I think.
What's half of that? $350. Should be half.
Yeah.
Competitive.
It
Maybe 400
has,
bucks.
it
It'd be
has
worth
all
It's $400.
it has all the same internals. It's just smaller. So
Less stuff. But
Yep.
actually, I think it still does the same stuff, but you have to access it virtually rather than having it packed up.
Yep. So let's see. Mr. Mick has a question. What's the next purchase you're looking at? That depends. It really depends on the day. I really want to get, for the channel anyway, another high quality camera to put over on that desk over there, so that I can do some streaming from over and do some workbench stuff. But then, I went onto a website the other day where I buy some of my guitars, and I thought that they had one of the made in Japan Wolfgang signatures in stock. All the other stuff they had showed out of stock, and then this one did not say that. And I went and I clicked buy, but then when it came up, it said out of stock. So I almost made an impulse buy on one of those. I wanted to try one.
I've heard they're very, very good. I've never met someone who had one that hated it. And
Well, the made in
hard pressed
Japan,
to find someone selling one, right?
yeah, the made in Japan Wolfgangs from years ago were fantastic. So I'm sure that these signature series, I'm gonna get my hands on one and try one.
Yeah, for sure. At least take it around the block. See, for me, I'm supposed to be getting a telly.
Okay.
And I've been looking for tellies, around the $300 price point. So we're in the Squire range. Just something with the basic configuration of a telly, so I can get that baseline down at least and understand that this is, what the benchmark is for a telly. It's kind of a staple in guitar tone-ness. But I was thinking, I've had John's, the one he had before he bought his Pete Thorne.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt cool and nice and stuff. But that was player professional, and it was a little bit more money than I was caring to spend.
Now,
So I've got my eyes open. I've seen a couple. There was one that was like $180, pretty good looking Squire that was buzzing, and the guy wanted $180 Canadian, so that's like $140 US. And it was 1 hour old, and I sent him a message. It was already gone.
yeah. History.
I can adjust
Now,
the truss rod.
I'm not a big Fender Strat player or Telly player, but I've played a few. I've always wanted to kind of get into that. And I've got a Strat, and I don't hardly play it. It just sits in the case. And I've got my my Friedman T-type purple guitar right there.
Which is
but-
like, yeah,
I wouldn't call that a Telly. I mean,
it's a fabulous telly-shaped object.
it's got a P90 and a humbucker in it, so it's not really your Telly type guitar. But I was browsing the guitar stores the other day, and a lot of you I know have heard of Nash guitars. Hands down, in my opinion, fit and finish, feel, sound makes a much better guitar than even Fender does right now for a Telecaster or a Stratocaster. They're about $2,300, but
That's 3,000 Canadian.
right. But they sound
I
so
can't spend
good,
that much money on a guitar.
and they feel great too.
I'm not good enough to notice the difference between $1,000 guitar and a $3,000 guitar.
You will be.
I can notice the difference between a $300 guitar and a $1,000 guitar. So, that's kind of where I plateau out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll get to a point where you're like, yeah, I need something a little better or a little nicer
Maybe.
quality.
I'm hoping to actually build something
There you go.
to
There you go.
make it the way you want it.
Let's see. Let
You
me
have to
catch
try
up on
everything
the.
to decide what you like.
Yeah.
It took me 3 or 4 days to get used to the neck on this thing after putting couple hundred hours onto that Explorer. Totally different feel to it, but I've kind of recalibrated. Now I wonder what it would be like jumping back to number one. But she still needs new strings. I'm going to string her up with some fresh strings. It's been 6 months.
Ray says her and her sister do a great version of Jump, too. So when we check out the Crazy Train, we'll have to check out Jump as well. Thank you, Raymond.
Awesome.
John says less gooder. Next winning Powerball ticket. That would be nice if that was my next purchase. A winning Powerball ticket. You guys would see some definite changes to the channel if I want Powerball.
I expect a couple weeks on an island somewhere where we all get together and have a good old-fashioned hootenanny.
Bo says, that's funny. The next purchase question is like asking a junkie what's the next score. Exactly.
I can get my hands on.
That's why I say it depends on what day that you catch me at, you know.
Yeah.
There's a few things on my radar. I was actually thinking of, I like the Rodecaster Pro 2 so much that I was actually thinking of getting another one to put over there on that computer. And what's nice about these is I technically could take the output of that computer and run it over here because it has two inputs and it works as an audio interface for two separate computers at the same time. Right. But experiments. I have to do some experiments.
That's a staple in the gamers market, right? Because they usually stream from a PC and they'll play on an Xbox or whatever. And they have screen capture on a different computer collecting that. So, I mean, it's awesome to have that technology there, for sure.
Yep.
And Skyprop, I've looked at the Harley Benton's, but they just feel like toys. They feel too cheap.
See, so you do recognize the difference between a quality guitar and
that's a $250 guitar,
right?
I
Patty has a question about string size. It depends. It depends on what I'm doing, Patty. The strings that I use are typically going to be Ernie Ball Slinky 942s for the majority of guitars. If I have a half-tuned step-down guitar, I'll put hybrids on it, which are 946. And then the only guitars that will use 10s would be probably the PRS and my Steinberger. I use double ball 10s on those, but those are a special string that they're really hard to find. I use 10s on that one because I think a little more stretch or strength out of them with all the stretching that they do.
For sure.
Yeah, so I use a 10 on that one. But typically, if you were just randomly pick up a guitar in my room here, it would likely have 9-42s, the Ernie Ball Slinkies.
Cool.
Great guitar. Tom has one, I think. William says Nash and LSL. I haven't heard of LSL. Have I been under a rock on this brand? Ryan says, howdy, still in Alabama for the night. After how she feels today, been lurking in some. Cool, man. Hope your mom feels better. Tell her that we all said hello. Hope she's doing better soon.
Sending some love her way.
Absolutely.
I actually met the lady. Virtually.
Yeah? Oh, gotcha. Hey, when did you make a trip to Alabama?
Well, Ryan made the trip to Alabama and took us with him on a buffalo hang. It was pretty cool, actually.
Oh, I think I remember coming in just after that. So I missed out on meeting. Bo says, I've been trying 838 on some of the guitars here. Billy Gibbons style. 838, huh?
10-46 to Dario with the XL 140s or whatever. Yeah. That's my style. Although I have a 10-52 set that I'm thinking of putting on a guitar and tuning it to like D standard, just to have maybe this crappy Epiphone, just to have something like that, just to growl once in a while.
Right. Yep.
dropped down to, what was it, drop C at that point. Good times, my friend.
William is surprised that I have not heard of LSL. I get kind of where, I find what I like and I stick to it. A lot of these new guitar brands that are coming out, like the Strandbergs and the Kiesels and all that, don't really interest me because I've got what I like, And I guess I'm kind of hard-headed sometimes because, I'm like, okay, let me try it. And I'll try. I'm like, oh man, why didn't I try this a long time ago? So, yeah, I'll check out LSL, see what they're about.
I got it right here.
Throw it up there, man. LSL.
Welcome to LSL down in Southern California.
Let's see what they got.
See our process. We're talking about tellies, right?
Oh, there's your teeth.
Really caught my eye. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he says. What was that you said to look at? Look at their TE50. Sky Prop says. I guess that would be the T style.
Why isn't it loading? I guess that's not a thing. So models. There, T style.
There we go. You got the T-bone. You got the T-bone 1. You got the bad bone.
Oh, that looks good. You got I'm looking at the bridge.
Maybe Sky Prop was talking about a different brand.
This is LSL Instruments. Don't know. Looks like
TE50 is a Harley Benton.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. That barebone down there at the bottom.
This one?
A baritone. Nope. Down one more. There you go.
But they got humbuckers. Not allowed. Got to be
traditional.
Like this. This bad bone.
Will that humbucker in the neck be allowed?
Bad bone. Maybe. Sneak it in. Ask for forgiveness rather than get permission.
Right. Yeah. What do those things run?
I don't know. Are they going to have a price?
Probably not. William, what's the cost on these things?
C-shape, 9.5 radius. See, like, that might be hard to get used to. I don't like anything less than 12 typically.
Look there. It's got stainless steel frets. Jumbo stainless. It's got 22 of them. How about that? Yep. I've never heard of LSL. Well, if they're around the same as Nash, I'd probably prefer to have a Nash. Because those things are awesome.
Let's see what we come up with here. Well, a used Telly T-Bone Blonde 2009 is $2,900 on Reverb.
Ooh, that's more than a Nash.
Higher end.
Yep.
Oh, here's a Strat looking relic thing, man. It's 5.3. Yeah.
What?
They're not cheap. Not cheap.
Wow.
Not what we're doing for an experiment. Actually, now, with that said, I had a moment today when I thought to myself, what if you just went into the Lone Wolf McQuaid, right, Les, and rent a telly for a month? It cost, right? It's got to be less than $100. Rent a telly for a month. Just get a nice, decent telly and see if it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it sticks, look at something to buy. And if it's whatever, not my style, then I just bring it back to him, and it's the end of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I got looks like a new face in here. Francesco Antonio Monaco says, "Thanks so much for the videos of disassembling that TransTrem. Very cool to see how they work." You're very welcome. That was me experimenting to see how they worked myself, and I figured if that would help somebody out.
I enjoyed that ride a lot too.
Yep.
It was a fun trip.
Any love for the TransTrem 3? No. I tried one on, what was that? They call that the Z3 or something like that came out. And I did not like that it did not lock into the same positions as the TransTrem 2 or any of the prior TransTrems. Yeah, it was different keys that it would go into. So there was no point. You can't do Summer Nights with it.
It's a different language now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the guitars look cool, but I never really cared for the TransTrem on those. So, you mentioned last minute ago. Is he going live tonight? He usually does 10:30 my time.
Did I get a notification about that? I know earlier he was talking about it.
It doesn't really matter anyway because I need to start thinking about getting to bed for work tomorrow. So, I'll probably start wrapping up here. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, we're well past 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Time flies.
I don't like this volume control in StreamYards.
Yeah, it's a stupid virtual slider.
Yeah, it's very, very sensitive. Or not very sensitive. So, anyway.
When it's off.
Well, that was fun. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. Trev, thank you for coming out and hanging with me on the stream.
Anytime, my friend, anytime.
Did you like the thumbnail? Your picture down in the corner?
Well, I figured it was a good one. I mean, you're like, hey, dude, yeah, got your breath up. Give me a minute.
Yeah. So now
Here, hold my beer. Right?
I officially have the picture to put you on the thumbnail for future shows. So we're all good.
I'm a real somebody now.
Yeah. Well, everybody in the chat, appreciate you coming out, hanging out. We will see everybody on Sunday, hopefully. And again, appreciate you guys just hanging out. Evidently, you like what I'm doing, so you keep coming back. So we'll keep doing it.
We'll see a lot of you before Sunday. Sure.
Hang on a second. This music is overpowering you there, so let me turn it down a little bit.
Let me get a little closer to the microphone then.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Said I'm sure we'll see most of each other before Sunday.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Probably in about 20 minutes on Laz's show. We'll see everybody. So I usually grab the iPad once I get in bed and I'll watch Laz for a little bit while I'm turning in for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ferd got a notification that he was going live, so we're gonna cut it close for him tonight. We're gonna cut this one off, and everybody
the raid. Is it a OhYouAteOne2 raid?
Yeah, we can do that. Everybody that goes in to see Laz, say OhYouAteOne2. You got rated from over in this show. So appreciate everybody. See you, Robert. See you, William. See you, Timothy Lay, who has just snuck in, I guess. Welcome in, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, man.
Let's see, Sky Prop, we'll see you. Patty Dill, thumbs up. Everybody hit a thumbs up on your way out if you like the show. And as Ryan says, everybody have a great night. Be safe, and we'll see everybody next time.
OhYouAteOne2 raid.
Say what now?
Join me over there, folks.
Yeah. Everybody hit Laz's with the OhYouAteOne2 raid, so we'll see everybody next time.
Cheers.